Caitlin Clark is forcing ESPN to rethink its strategy, and the network is making significant changes for 2025. After years of overlooking women's basketball, ESPN is finally waking up to the undeniable impact that Clark has had on the sport. With her recent accolades and captivating performances, ESPN executives are now scrambling to adapt, and this transformation could change everything for women's sports coverage. For years, there has been a notable void in coverage for the WNBA, pushing many fans to seek their news from platforms like YouTube instead. ESPN's decision to launch a daily show during the WNBA season is a step toward filling that gap, albeit a limited one. While it's great to see this initiative, one can't help but wonder why such a show hasn't been established year-round. Nevertheless, this shift promises to create more content opportunities for creators and fans alike. Caitlin Clark's rise has been nothing short of revolutionary. She has drawn unprecedented audiences to women's basketball, creating a phenomenon that even ESPN's top brass can't ignore. The excitement surrounding her games has led to record-breaking ticket sales and packed arenas, reflecting a growing interest in women's basketball that has surged to new heights. In the past, ESPN treated women's basketball as an afterthought, often relegating highlights to the wee hours of the morning. However, Clark's influence has compelled them to reconsider their approach. When she steps onto the court, viewership spikes dramatically, challenging the long-held belief that women's sports couldn't attract significant audiences. College women's basketball is now pulling in numbers that rival traditional male-dominated sports, leaving ESPN executives in a state of urgency. Clark's impact is not just about numbers. It's reshaping the cultural landscape of sports. Fans who previously overlooked women's basketball are now becoming dedicated followers, inspired by her skills and performance. Merchandise sales, particularly of her jerseys, are soaring, indicating that Clark is not merely a flash in the pan. She's a transformative figure in the sport. ESPN has been closely monitoring its analytics, and the results are shocking. Social media engagement skyrockets when Clark is playing, generating millions of impressions and countless viral moments. This newfound interest is attracting advertisers who are reconsidering their strategies to include women's sports. The days of ESPN treating women's basketball as a favor for Title IX are long gone. They are now realizing they may have missed out on one of the most significant sports stories of the decade. The decline in traditional sports viewership, especially among younger audiences, has forced ESPN to adapt. Young viewers are flocking to platforms like YouTube and TikTok for their sports content, but they return in droves when Clark plays. This shift has created a unique opportunity for ESPN, prompting them to invest millions in new programming and talent dedicated to women's basketball. However, many wonder if they are already too late to the party. While ESPN has the resources to make substantial changes, they lack credibility with the core women's basketball fanbase. Independent creators and media outlets have built authentic connections with fans, providing consistent coverage and compelling storytelling that ESPN has overlooked for years. The grassroots support for women's basketball has created a community that ESPN is now struggling to penetrate, despite its financial backing. As Caitlin Clark prepares to enter the WNBA, the excitement around her is palpable. The Indiana Fever, who hold the first pick in the draft, are poised to become one of the most watched teams in the league's history. Every game will be an event, and every highlight will likely go viral, placing immense pressure on ESPN to deliver comprehensive coverage. Interestingly, the stakes are higher than just one player. Clark is a catalyst, opening doors for other stars to receive the recognition they deserve. Players like Aja Wilson, Kelsey Plum, and Sabrina Ionescu are finally getting the spotlight that has eluded them for years. ESPN's plans are not just about launching a daily show. They signify a complete rebranding in how they approach women's basketball. The urgency is evident, with reports suggesting that ESPN must act quickly to launch the new programming or risk being left behind. Yet, the decision to only cover the WNBA during the season raises questions about their commitment. Women's basketball is a year-round sport, and fans crave more than just game coverage. In a surprising move, ESPN is shifting focus away from traditional sports like MLB to make room for new programming. Their upcoming streaming service, Flagship, aims to provide comprehensive access to all things ESPN, coinciding with Clark's entrance into the WNBA. This timing suggests a calculated effort to capitalize on the growing interest in women's basketball, which is finally receiving the attention it deserves. The power dynamics in sports media are shifting dramatically. Social media has empowered fans to dictate what's worth watching, and they have declared that women's basketball is must-see content. With Caitlin Clark at the forefront of this movement, ESPN's challenge is to keep pace with the enthusiasm and engagement that fans are already creating independently. The future of women's basketball looks bright, but will ESPN remain committed to its newfound focus? Will they treat the sport with the respect it deserves, or will they revert to old habits? As fans, we can only hope that this shift represents a lasting change in how women's sports are covered. The vibrant new era of women's basketball is upon us, and it's time